Xiao Yan. Looking at Xiao Yan's body, which was teetering on the brink of death, sharp and desperate cries rang out from the two women in the distance. Seeing this scene, Ziyin, who was shielded by Xiao Yan's outstretched arms, felt an even stronger pain in her heart. Her eyes instantly became red and teary, and a deep sense of guilt surged within her. "Give me the thing. I can let you die together?" Looking for death. Before the Silver Dragon King's words had even fully left his mouth, Ziyin, protected by Xiao Yan's near-death body, slowly blinked her long eyelashes. Her jade-like hand gently gripped the jade box, which suddenly trembled, releasing an ancient aura as if the world itself was beginning anew. It seemed to seep from the box, slowly spreading out. She wanted to devour the dragon gods, just like the Golden Dragon King had done. But she had forgotten that the Golden Dragon King dared to consume the celestial pivot dragon bone because he already possessed power capable of matching anything, and he had the confidence to back it up. Now, when Ziyin tried to follow suit, it was nothing short of a path to her own death. After all, the gap between them was far too vast. Seeking death. You don't even have the strength of the 9th reincarnation stage, yet you wish to devour the complete dragon god's will. How laughable. The Silver Dragon King sneered at Ziyin's actions, but in a way, it was for the best. Only like this could the fragment of dragon god's will that Ziyin had previously consumed be restored, forming the complete dragon god's will. Are you insane? Do you even know what you're trying to devour? Xiao Yan, dragging his body that seemed ready to collapse at any moment, turned and roared at Ziyin behind him. In his fury, blood spurted from his mouth, staining the ground with dark, murky crimson, and his vision blurred. "I'm sorry, the situation now. It's all my fault, but I don't want you to die." The voice of the girl behind him grew choked with emotion. Even as her skin and soul were being consumed little by the divine force spilling from the jade box, she showed no sign of stopping. Tears had already soaked her entire face. "Let's die together." The Silver Dragon King slowly raised his hand. The blood-bone dragon and elemental power surged as one, inching toward the two, their very presence amplifying the aura of death in their eyes. Under the overwhelming elemental power, any resistance was like that of ants, utterly useless. Their demise seemed to be only a breath away. Wait. From a distance, Kai Lin and Yun, their bodies ablaze with the fire of life, attempted to rush toward Xiao Yan and Ziyin, desperate to save them. Even if they had to perish alongside them, they refused to watch Xiao Yan fall here. However, before they could even make a move, Long Hao desperately stopped them. Before Kai Lin and Yun could turn or speak, a massive buzzing sound, like the presence of a dominator surpassing all rules, suddenly spread throughout the void. That sound, that force, felt as if a long-dormant dragon king was waking after countless cycles of reincarnation. Boom, boom, boom. The golden cocoon finally shattered completely at that moment, transforming into a brilliant golden sun, flashing across the heavens. A slightly ethereal golden figure appeared in front of the Silver Dragon King, enveloping Xiao Yan and Ziyan's bodies. The moment this figure appeared, the elemental power unleashed by the Silver Dragon King evaporated into nothingness, and a massive roar of fury echoed throughout the surroundings. As this figure materialized, an eerie, oppressive force filled the entire world. "Master! Uncle!" Looking at the illusory figure bathed in golden light, Xiao Yan weakly exhaled, and then his body suddenly collapsed, his eyes slowly closing. With the Golden Dragon King breaking through his confinement, Xiao Yan's task had come to an end. In this battle, to resist the Silver Dragon King, he had exhausted all his means, and his injuries were too severe. However, if he could recover, the power of the demon would be within his grasp, and his strength would once again break through, though those were matters for later. Boom. Within the golden light, a man dressed in a golden robe gently pointed at Xiao Yan, and a soft glow instantly shielded him. Even the dragon god's will, which had begun to flicker in Ziyan's hand, was sealed once more. "Little one, you've worked hard. Leave the rest to me." Looking at the frail figure who had nearly perished to buy him time, the Golden Dragon King's voice grew solemn. But it was clear to see that the Dragon Clan's most powerful being, capable of overturning everything, now had an almost insane fluctuation in his eyes. If he had waited any longer, if Xiao Yan and the others had encountered any change, the consequences would have been far too great. Golden Dragon King. Seeing this scene, the Silver Dragon King's shrill voice echoed across the heavens. The vast golden blazing sun surged across the horizon, and the domineering voice that despised everything echoed once again. However, this time, the voice was filled with an extreme sense of anger and killing intent. The Silver Dragon King openly instigated internal strife within the Dragon Clan, annihilating numerous elite members, and now had even caused Xiao Yan to end up in such a state. This made the guilt and anger in the Golden Dragon King's heart intensify. The Dragon Lord has fully recovered. At this moment, Dragon Hao and the others below were overwhelmed with excitement, tears nearly welling up as they felt a surge of emotions. At the peak of his power, the Golden Dragon King was on par with not only the Silver Dragon King, but even the Slaughter Angel of the Angel Kingdom. That level of power had already surpassed the pinnacle of this world, beyond words to describe. Even the current Silver Dragon King could not compare. Xiao Yan. In an instant, the three women, Kai Lin and her companions, gathered around the unconscious Xiao Yan, their voices trembling uncontrollably. Even with the protection of the Golden Dragon King's power, Xiao Yan's body showed no sign of improvement. The burning elemental force had sealed off his undying and eternal power, his trunk bones shattered and broken. The severity of his injuries was staggering, but fortunately, the bleeding had been temporarily halted. I was not wrong. Looking at the faint, emerald-colored halo flickering behind the Golden Dragon King, the Silver Dragon King's pupils flickered with a cold, ominous light. The worst thing he had feared had come to pass. This person had actually devoured the celestial pivot dragon bone in such a short amount of time. His talent and strength were undeniable, and even the destruction of his dragon body couldn't conceal it. After you die, I will offer your dragon egg before the dragon gods steal in the dragon tomb, so that before your next awakening, you will forever be trapped in remorse. When you are reborn, you will still be my sister, the Golden Dragon King. But today, your life must be sacrificed to atone for your heinous crimes. The Golden Dragon King slowly emerged from the golden blazing sun, his once handsome face now filled with an intent to kill so overwhelming it seemed to shake the heavens. Preposterous! The Silver Dragon King sneered as he looked at the enraged Golden Dragon King, his silver dragon scales spreading all over his body, even around his head, where a faint halo began to shimmer. Crack! Without any hesitation, the Golden Dragon King exploded into action, his golden dragon claws surging from his hands. The blood-colored bone dragon, once a pride of the Silver Dragon King, shattered in an instant. Countless elemental forces scattered, shaking the void around them. Now that the Golden Dragon King had devoured the dragon god's bone, his strength may no longer be the 9th reincarnation stage. Instead, it had reached an entirely new level. Elemental Force, Thunder Spike. Elemental Force, Wind Mystic Talisman. Elemental Force, Sacred Flame Summon. Terrifying forces that could topple the heavens and earth crashed against the Golden Dragon King's body like torrents, but they felt as though they were merely scratching an itch. All that could be heard were metallic sounds from his skin, with no other effects. After devouring the dragon bone, the Golden Dragon King had not yet reformed his dragon body. However, with the Silver Dragon King's current power, he was utterly unable to break the Golden Dragon King's defense. From the moment the Golden Dragon King emerged, this battle had lost all suspense. Celestial Pivot Spirit Transformation, Divine Punishment Holy Dragon. The Golden Dragon King, high above, uttered these words as if he were a ruler, and then a 5-colored dragon, covered in mystical energy ripples, slowly emerged from his body. As soon as it appeared, it behaved like a playful young dragon, constantly swinging its body, causing the void to twist. The power contained within this dragon was not something the peak of the 9th reincarnation stage could ever hope to rival. The small, yet powerful dragon's head, with its faint dragon horns, shimmered with an intense ancient fluctuation. Without hesitation, it broke free from the Golden Dragon King's control and charged straight at the Silver Dragon King. The power of the Dragon God. The Silver Dragon King's purple eyes twitched slightly as he gazed at the minuscule yet powerfully unsettling dragon shadow. He muttered to himself. This small creature was emanating an overwhelming aura of judgment and condemnation. Wisdom Dragon Bone, Crystal Dust Realm. A unique dark light flickered in the Silver Dragon King's eyes, and then a brilliant dark-colored beam shot out from his mind, carrying immense soul power, aimed straight at the approaching five-colored dragon shadow in the sky. The Wisdom Dragon Bone had already brought his soul power to the peak of divine astral projection. While it was not on the level of Xiao Yan's, it was more than enough to deal a fatal blow to the Golden Dragon King, who was utterly ignorant of soul power. Such things from the Dragon Clan are not meant for a mere sinful dragon like you to use. In an instant, the five-colored dragon shadow opened its mouth slightly, as if the dragon god had returned, and a silent, extreme voice reverberated out. Gurgle. At this moment, as the voice echoed, deep within the Silver Dragon King's mind, a dragon bone surrounded by a ghostly light and radiating a spectrum of colors emitted a long-lost sense of unease. It immediately severed all contact with the Silver Dragon King. It was as if the energy dragon formed by the dragon bone of the Golden Dragon King was no longer an ordinary young dragon, but instead, a dragon god with extraordinary power. Boom! Without warning, the multicolored dragon shadow, like a divine enforcer appointed by the dragon god, descended from the sky, its dragon horns poised to strike, charging straight at the Silver Dragon King. Her greatest support, the Wisdom Dragon Bone, malfunctioned. All the elemental power within her was suppressed by the multicolored dragon shadow. In this moment, the Silver Dragon King seemed as fragile as an ordinary young maiden. Fear. The Golden Dragon Shadow. Both expanded rapidly in her violet eyes. It seemed as if she had already foreseen her fate. Desperately, she roared towards the distant Golden Dragon King. Big brother, I was wrong. Give me another chance. We are. Her voice was filled with endless terror and unease. In this situation, she had no chance to resist. You have no chance. The Golden Dragon King slightly closed his eyes and turned away, seemingly unwilling to watch the tragic end of the Silver Dragon King. Then, the multicolored dragon shadow flickered past, its body brimming with overwhelming dragon power. In just a moment, the once mighty and ambitious Silver Dragon King began to vanish, both in body and spirit. Only a moment later, a single dragon bone and a source orb of radiant elemental energy hovered in mid-air. Alongside them was a small silver dragon egg, covered in ancient, intricate markings, and within it, it seemed that new life was slowly stirring. After the fall of the 9 great dragon kings, the dragon egg had returned to its primal form. To hatch and be reborn, it would require countless cycles of reincarnation. Meanwhile, the chaos surrounding the dragon god Steel, including the battle between the Baxia Dragon King and others, had completely ended. In the end, Xiao Xian had awakened Zhu Kuan's consciousness. Under Zhu Kuan's leadership, the remaining Sacred Armor Dragon Army, along with some of the coalition forces secretly captured by the Silver Dragon King from the Golden Dragon King's faction, were finally rescued, somewhat redeeming their past actions. As for the other 5 Dragon Kings who had allied with the Silver Dragon King, they were bound by the Baxia Dragon King and the others, awaiting judgment from the Golden Dragon King. Thankfully, the Dragon Clan's internal conflict this time had not led to irreversible damage. Aside from the 2 elders who had pledged allegiance to the Silver Dragon King being tragically killed and the Silver Dragon King's demise, there were no other significant losses. If anything, of the 9 great Dragon Kings, 5 had participated in this conflict, and even the powerful Long Qing, who had sacrificed himself to protect 2 of the clan's elite warriors, had been obliterated entirely in the 9th reincarnation stage. This was perhaps the greatest cost of the internal strife. This is the supreme power that the Dragon Clan's ruler should possess. Watching this scene, Long Hao and the others felt a sense of relief. At least this time, The calamity of the Dragon Clan had not reached the point of no return, or else, as high-ranking members of the Dragon Clan, they would have been doomed to a tragic fate. Clear the way. Without stopping to retrieve the silver dragon egg or the 2 orbs of elemental power, the Golden Dragon King's figure streaked toward Xiao Yan's position, his heart in turmoil and growing anxious. But no one noticed that, in the distance, the multicolored dragon shadow, after destroying the Silver Dragon King, did not disappear. Instead, like a newly born being, it devoured the elemental source orb left behind by the Silver Dragon King's fall. As for the dragon bone, the little creature did not have the strength to consume it just yet. The power of the immortal twin sacred flames was suppressed by the Silver Dragon King's elemental force, but in the end, his life was protected by demonic power. Kai Lin and Yun shook their heads slightly, their expressions complex, as they were at a loss for what to do about the situation. Sigh. Upon hearing this, the Golden Dragon King immediately sensed Xiao Yan's current condition and furrowed his brow even more tightly. Senior, give me those powers. Watching the distant multicolored dragon shadow awkwardly hopping and stumbling, seemingly overwhelmed from devouring the Silver Dragon King's source power, Ziyin gritted her teeth and spoke. Xiao Yan's bones, even his soul, had been corroded by elemental power. To heal him, this force must first be driven out. Otherwise, this terrifying elemental force would deal a devastating blow. Your power was accelerated by the Silver Dragon King's manipulation. Now, although you've broken free from his control, your internal energy is already in turmoil. Even if you obtain these powers, you'll probably never break through to the 9th reincarnation stage. The Golden Dragon King shook his head after hearing Ziyan's serious words. He didn't know her well enough, so he could only clearly explain the situation to her. 9th reincarnation stage? Dragon God's power? Faced with the words of the Golden Dragon King, Ziyin slowly revealed a captivating smile. I just want to save him, that's all. The calamity facing the Dragon Clan had settled. The 5 great Dragon Kings had their Dragon God powers stripped away and granted to Xiao Xin, Kai Lin, Yun, and Long Yi, who had shown merit. Their statuses had been demoted, and they were unlikely to achieve greatness for the rest of their lives. Xiao Xin became one of the wise leaders of the Dragon Clan. Long Yi was named the new 10th king, and other meritorious figures were also rewarded. The entire Dragon Clan continued in its quiet order. In the Dragon Sanctuary, within the Dragon Burial Pool, where the remains of the strongest Dragon Clan members were transformed into dragon bones, the atmosphere was tense. It's still not working. For 10 days, Ziyin, the Golden Dragon King, Kai Lin, and other elite members of the Dragon Clan had gathered here day and night, trying every possible method to save the gravely injured Xiao Yan. However, despite using the powers of the Flower Goddess, the 10-colored heaven-swallowing python, and even the strength of the Golden and Silver Dragon Kings, there was not a hint of improvement in Xiao Yan's condition. His injuries were simply too severe. Boom. In the core of the Dragon Burial Pool, countless energies of heaven and earth converged, and the crisp sound of an energy explosion echoed again. It can't be. With so much sacred flame, demonic power, and even the strength of the Xiao clan inside him, how can he remain unconscious? Despite nearly 1,000 attempts over those 10 days, they all ended in failure. At this moment, Yun's defenses seemed to have crumbled slightly, as tears streamed down her face, looking at the lifeless, emaciated figure and choking out. It's all right. It's definitely going to have a solution. Seeing Yun so haggard and sorrowful, Kai Lin hurriedly got up to support her trembling body, gently patting her back to soothe her spirit. Sigh. Ziyin and the Golden Dragon King shook their heads slightly, sighing. Currently, Xiao Yan's soul was corroded by elemental power, and his bones had been almost completely eliminated by Ziyin. Yet there were no signs of improvement in his injuries. He seemed to have fallen into a state akin to suspended animation, and even the Dragon Clan's profound resources could not find a solution. Let's try using the Dragon God's will. After a moment of hesitation, Ziyin suddenly spoke up. That won't work. The power of the Dragon God's will is too overwhelming. Xiao Yan's body and soul can't withstand that level of power. As soon as Zi Yin voiced her suggestion, the Golden Dragon King immediately countered it. It wasn't that the Golden Dragon King was stingy, but rather that the power of the dragon god's will was too domineering. If it entered his body and he couldn't withstand it, the consequences would be unimaginable. Dragon Lord, this is your dragon bone. In the next moment, Long Hao flashed over from afar, holding an exquisitely crafted dragon box, inside which lay a massive dragon bone, radiating an aura of sky-shattering might. Although the sky-breaking dragon bone is powerful, it doesn't suit Xiao Yan's situation. It's better left with you, Senior Golden Dragon King. Thank you all for your help during this time. I want to take him back to the Boundless Fire Domain. I believe that with Yao Ji and the First Elder's experience, there must be a way to rescue him. Seeing the dire situation, Kai Lin forced herself to suppress the heartache. If she were to completely break down now, the situation would only worsen. As Kai Lin's voice faded, Long Hao and the others exchanged silent glances, momentarily at a loss for words. Only the Golden Dragon King remained unaffected by Kai Lin's words. He took the box containing the sky-breaking dragon bone and walked step by step toward the crystal stone platform deep in the dragon burial pool. On the crystal stone platform, Xiao Yan lay quietly, the flames of the undying and eternal flickering slightly, protecting the essence of his being, and even his battered body had healed significantly during those 10 days. Dragon Lord? Observing the Golden Dragon King's strange actions, the 3 dragon clan elites behind Long Hao gasped in disbelief. The sky-breaking dragon bone was indeed well suited to the Golden Dragon King, but that did not mean it would suit Xiao Yan. While the enhancement from the dragon bone was formidable, if the Golden Dragon King forcibly implanted it into Xiao Yan's body, the backlash could spell disaster. Snap! Without further ado, the Golden Dragon King raised his right hand, bathing in a dazzling golden light, and without any hesitation, reached directly behind him. Though the action seemed casual, the high-ranking members behind him gasped, exclaiming, "Dragon Lord, you mustn't." Was the Golden Dragon King really intending to remove the celestial pivot dragon bone he had consumed and replace it with Xiao Yan's? Given his current strength, the Golden Dragon King probably had already reached the peak of the 9th reincarnation stage. With some more time in seclusion, completely absorbing the power of the dragon bone and breaking through was just around the corner. If he attempted to extract the dragon bone now, not only would his essence face backlash, but any lingering effects could lead to an unprecedented disaster for the vast dragon clan. The Golden Dragon King ignored the roars of the crowd behind him. With every movement, blood gushed from his back, and in his blood-soaked hand, wrapped in emerald light, was an ancient bone fragment. As soon as the bone fragment emerged, a unique tidal wave swept across the dragon burial pool, as if countless long-fallen dragon bones from millennia ago were bowing in reverence. Poof! The Golden Dragon King endured the weak sensation spreading within his body, then raised his hand and pressed the dragon bone against the unconscious Xiao Yan to reattach it. At the same time, the sky-breaking dragon bone also appeared, seamlessly connecting with the Golden Dragon King's back in the blink of an eye. This was the greatest feat the Golden Dragon King could achieve at present. Although Zi Yin, who had inherited the power of the fallen Silver Dragon King, could temporarily take his place, her strength would forever be limited to the peak of the 8th reincarnation stage. With the internal strife barely over and the dragon clan severely weakened, while the extraterritorial evil clan eyed them from the outside, the Golden Dragon King, as the ruler of the dragon clan, naturally had to think about the survival of his people and the Great Thousand Worlds. However, the Golden Dragon King's actions undoubtedly brought tears to the eyes of countless Dragon Clan experts. Little one, this is the greatest contribution I, your uncle master, can make for you. You should be waking up soon. After all, there are many who still support you in this world. Don't keep them waiting too long. The Golden Dragon King spoke weakly, but as Xiao Yan lay before him, with the dragon god bone, the dead flesh and bones within Xiao Yan's body seemed to stir and revive, as if life was returning like bamboo shoots after the rain. Seeing this scene, Kai Lin and Yun Yun couldn't hide their astonishment. This belongs to you, Zi Yin said, handing the jade box containing the dragon god's will back to the Golden Dragon King. What had just happened with the Golden Dragon King had completely won the loyalty of everyone present. Xiao knew that the extraordinary power of the dragon gods could likely only be consumed by the Golden Dragon King, a powerhouse capable of breaking through to the peak of the 9th reincarnation stage with the dragon god bone, yet willing to strip away and relinquish such supreme power for Xiao Yan, showed incredible determination that ordinary individuals couldn't hope to match. Seeing this, the Golden Dragon King nodded slowly. With the Dragon Clan's calamity finally over, the moment would soon come when he would emerge to save the Xiao clan and lead the final battle. The Dragon Clan is to be reorganized. We will close our gates for 1 year. 1 year from now, we will return to the Great Thousand and wage war against the extraterritorial evil clan. Once the Golden Dragon King finished speaking, everyone followed him out of the dragon burial pool, heading toward the dragon tomb for seclusion. Only Kailin, Yun, and Xiao Yan remained quietly seated in the depths of the dragon pool, where, before the Golden Dragon King departed, he imparted the Dragon Clan's supreme technique, the 9 transformations of the Dragon God, to Kailin. The 8th transformation, Breath of the Dragon God. The 9th transformation, Return of the Dragon God. The Dragon Clan, at its end. After the internal strife, under the Golden Dragon King's reorganization, the Dragon Clan quickly began to recover its former glory. However, the consequences of this civil war had severely weakened the overall strength of the Dragon Clan. As a result, the Golden Dragon King ordered the entire clan to seclude itself. Many powerful Dragon Clan members entered closed-door cultivation to prepare for the impending final battle. With the Dragon Clan in seclusion, Xiao Yan and the others also peacefully sat in the dragon burial pool, quietly cultivating. Over time, subtle changes began to occur in their bodies, as if they were undergoing a slow transformation. At the same time, in the Great Thousand Worlds, as well as in some mysterious and comical places, secret events were unfolding, making the already tense situation in the Great Thousand even more volatile. In the territories of the Great Thousand World, a force standing at the peak of the human realm was the Immortal Sacred Graveyard Mountain Range, the residence of the Immortal Sacred Sovereign. Since the end of the Reincarnation Sea, the Immortal Sacred Sovereign had returned here, organizing everything within the Immortal Sacred Graveyard Mountain Range in preparation for joining the Endless Flame Alliance. This is the Immortal Sacred Graveyard? At the mountain's outskirts, a figure cloaked in gray lightning flickered like a ghost through this dark and gloomy region. Her gray eyes gleamed with a maddening smile and a faint trace of a gray lightning fox. As soon as she spoke, the figure moved with calm steps, heading toward the eerie palace at the heart of the mountain range, seemingly targeting someone specific. The aura surrounding her sent a chill down the spine. Master of the Tomb, the reincarnation stage experts have been organized. After the battle in the Reincarnation Sea, the extraterritorial evil clan suffered significant losses. However, no news has surfaced, which is likely not a good sign. Since we're ready, let's go. Let the other guards stay here. If we survive and return after the great battle, this will still be our base. In the Immortal Sacred Sovereign's aging eyes, a hint of reluctance surfaced, especially when his gaze fell upon the mysterious coffin behind him, which gleamed with an endless aura of mystery, undoubtedly something of extraordinary origin. But at this moment, a choice had to be made. Despite their fame in the Great Thousand Worlds, they truly felt powerless against the extraterritorial evil clan. The main reason was that none of the peak powers had a strong individual at the 9th reincarnation stage. Not even a half-step 9th reincarnation. It seemed that all experts surpassing the peak of the 8th reincarnation stage were restricted and summoned by the center of the human realm, unable to remain within these forces. Such circumstances left countless strong people in shock, as if the rules and order of this world were entirely controlled by the center of the human realm. But it was an unavoidable situation. Since the disappearance of the Xiao clan, everything in the world had been nearly controlled by the center of the human realm. After the events in the Reincarnation Sea, the resurrection of the Xiao clan's elder and others allowed the Endless Flame Alliance, a newly formed force, to become the ideal place for countless forces from the Great Thousand Worlds to seek refuge. The center of the human realm maintained its transcendent position, and no one knew what secrets lay within. Let's go. With those words, the immortal sacred sovereign stood up, his body surrounded by a dense and eerie aura, then tore open a space passage, leading the elite forces forward. With his elite forces joining the Endless Flame Alliance, Xiao Yan would have no reason to refuse him. After all, the Endless Flame Alliance was probably planning matters concerning the Netherworld, and such core forces were crucial. Boom, boom, boom. Just as the coalition prepared to set out, a surge of intense lightning energy flooded the heavens and earth, filled with a violent aura that made their hearts shudder. This is lightning? The immortal sacred sovereign's eyelids twitched violently as he looked toward the sacred tomb mountain range, where a seductive figure slowly rose. A wave of unease rapidly spread in his mind. Although the aura was similar to his own, the immortal sacred sovereign could tell that it was far beyond the typical peak of the 8th reincarnation stage. It was as though the power within this figure had grown so strong that it was almost impossible for him to resist. "You're in such a hurry to leave. Let me see you off." The seductive figure shook her head softly as she gazed at these small, insignificant humans. Great thunder annihilation. Her mocking voice echoed as the eerie corpse aura of the entire world was instantly obliterated by a violent surge of thunderous breath. Countless experts didn't even have time to react before they were completely annihilated. After all, the caster of such a world-destroying attack had reached the peak of the 8th reincarnation stage, with a force that surpassed the immortal sacred sovereign's understanding. Even the immortal sacred sovereign could not resist. The immortal sacred sovereign's power was completely countered by the enemy's attributes, not to mention the need to protect the army and the mountain range behind him. In an instant, the immortal sacred graveyard trembled like a collapsing star before erupting in an explosion of brilliant energy sparks, creating a devastating storm of destruction. No screams, no tragic sounds. Under the gray thunder, everything was silenced. It seemed no one in the immortal sacred graveyard survived. Utterly tragic. Only one more place to go. Once this last task is completed, I will be free from that mirror. With the Creator's power, I can break through the 8th reincarnation. To think they've always treated me as a copy. Ridiculous. I have long possessed my own intelligence. If it weren't for that annoying mirror power, I would never have become a puppet to be controlled. The voice fell, and the seductive figure showed no signs of hesitation, vanishing into the void as she headed toward her final destination. The dazzling gray thunder around her was identical to that of the Thunder Lord under the Endless Flame Alliance. But there was a faint, barely perceptible surge of overwhelming evil power within her. Thunder. Thunder Lord. Endless Fire Domain. You've gone too far. As the graceful figure completely disappeared, amidst the endless ruins and dust, a disheveled figure slowly struggled to rise. The eerie coffin behind it shielded its mind entirely, as if the fierce strike from the alluring figure just moments ago had not caused any significant damage. However, at this moment, the fury in the immortal sacred sovereign's words had completely robbed him of his sanity. The immortal sacred graveyard, right under his nose, had been destroyed by the Thunder Lord of the Endless Flame Alliance. This grudge was irreconcilable. In an instant, carrying his heavily injured body, the immortal sacred sovereign made his way toward the human realm's central region, where the human realm's envoy was stationed. With the immortal sacred sovereign involved, this matter would undoubtedly be linked to the Endless Flame Alliance. With the destruction of the immortal sacred graveyard, in the void of the human realm within the great thousand worlds, a supreme holy place belonging to the angel kingdom emerged, the Holy Light Church. Now, the Holy Light Church shone with golden radiance, and countless sacred auras turned this place into a true holy land, becoming the symbol of the angel kingdom within the great thousand worlds. Countless followers of the light worshipped here day and night, making it the highest holy place after the angel kingdom itself. Apart from the endless stream of light worshippers continuously offering their faith, some prominent humans from the great thousand worlds who sought the angel's help, or wished to enter the angel kingdom, could only do so with the approval of the Pope of the Holy Light Church. The Pope of the Holy Light Church, at the 8th reincarnation stage with 8 purple wings, did not belong to the faction of the Slaughter Angel, but rather seemed to be aligned with the Angel Queen's faction. What most people did not know was that, in the past, Lu Qing and the Son of Light, Lu Hao, had also secluded themselves here. Using their identities as the Son of Light, the siblings lived very comfortably in this sacred place. My lords, the situation in the Great Thousand Worlds and the extraterritorial evil clan is not optimistic. I believe it is unwise to return to the angelic holy city at this moment. The angelic holy city is heavily guarded, and although its safety is high, given the nature of the slaughter angel, if they find out the Son of Light still lives, they might attempt to kill you. After all, the Angel Queen is still in seclusion. Before them, a pope wearing a silver crown walked slowly, continuously advising them. After all, he had received great favor from the previous Son of Light, and since he was also the uncle of Lu Qing and her brother, he naturally supported them in return. Your Holiness, thank you for your hard work. After some conversation, Lu Qing nodded slightly, agreeing with the Pope's suggestion. After Lu Hao's duel on the Dodi continent and the Church's defeat, he was originally supposed to enter the Angel Kingdom. However, due to Lu Qing's concern about the wrath of the Slaughter Angel, the Son of Light, Lu Hao, used some special powers to mask his presence from the Slaughter Angel. After all, as the Son of Light, he was an envoy of light. Though his power was not as great as that of the Slaughter Angel, he had his own pride. Furthermore, the Slaughter Angel was preoccupied with many other matters, and this issue eventually faded away. My lords, this is bad. An unexpected visitor has taken over the entire space of the church, and they come with great force. In the luxurious hall, just as the three were discussing matters, a church guard hurriedly pushed the door open, his face serious. What? Someone dares to challenge our holy light church? The Pope was slightly shocked upon hearing this, and the pure white light around him began to flow out, casting the entire hall in a divine radiance. Let's go. As soon as the words left his mouth, the Pope, accompanied by the guards, summoned the church's elite and headed toward the intruder. This was his duty as Pope. Sister, we should go too. Seeing the Pope leave, Lu Hao, now far more thoughtful than before, nodded, having grown much after his defeat and Lu Qing's guidance. No. The Holy Light Church is the strongest stronghold of the Angel Kingdom's countless branches. The number and quality of the strong beings here are exceptional. At this moment, someone dares to pick a fight? Lu Hao, let's go. Lu Qing's face tightened, and she instinctively sensed some danger approaching. Sister, where are we going? Lu Hao, confused, asked. It seemed like just an arrogant fool trying to challenge the church's authority. Why would his sister react so dramatically? To the boundless fire domain. With your identity as the Son of Light, they would never erase us. But if we fall into the hands of the Slaughter Angels, our lives are certainly in danger. Moreover, today's events are probably not so simple. Let's go. The Son of Light, Lu Hao, and Lu Qing were both from the royal lineage of the Angel Kingdom. However, the situation in the Angel Kingdom had become unpredictable, and the angelic royal family no longer held real power. Even they dared not recklessly enter the kingdom's core, so they could only hide and wait for the Angel Queen's summons. Outside the Holy Light Church, in the central square surrounded by countless divine temples. The Holy Light Church, truly a name full of grandeur. But this statue, it's too distracting. A graceful and enchanting figure casually wandered through the church's grand plaza and noticed the golden statue placed at the highest position. It depicted a stunningly beautiful woman with delicate features and a slender frame, bathed in an aura that seemed to shake the heavens. According to legend, she was the strongest being in the Angel Kingdom, the one who controlled the highest order of this world, the Slaughter Angel, Lucifer. Crack. Without warning, the mysterious Thunder Lord reached out and gently squeezed the statue. Countless gray thunderbolts fell from the void, shattering the statue into pieces. Bold! How dare you desecrate the divine statue? In the next instant, figures wearing golden holy robes appeared from all corners of the church, surrounding the mysterious Thunder Lord. Their powers were spread across multiple stages of reincarnation, and together, they exuded an overwhelming and terrifying energy. Poof! In the face of this, The mysterious Thunder Lord smiled coldly. Countless gray thunder foxes suddenly surged from the hearts of the onlookers, burning them to ashes in the blink of an eye. Peak of the 8th reincarnation stage? What kind of monstrous power is this? Looking at the scene, the previously solemn Pope's eyelids twitched violently, and his body trembled. The immense evil energy behind the mysterious Thunder Lord seemed capable of shaking the very angelic power within him. Rip. Die. The combined force of gray thunder and faint yellow evil energy exploded, shattering the defenses of those in front of him in an instant, easily breaking their angelic wings. It was like a bloodthirsty demon casually slaughtering countless beings within the church. Blood flowed like rivers, and the once vibrant holy light church seemed to have turned into a barren hell. From the midst of the bloodbath, a graceful woman could be seen, continually eradicating everything in her path, her greedy face like that of a vampire, unabashedly devouring all the power around her. In just a quarter of an hour, the bustling holy light church ceased to exist. All that remained was a sea of blood formed by countless disintegrated bodies, and the air was thick with vengeful malice. Heh! The power of the angels is truly a delicious thing. After the mysterious Thunder Lord completely obliterated the place, her jade-like hand slowly lifted to wipe the blood from her lips. Looking at the unprecedented scene of death, an inexplicable excitement surged in her mind. At this moment, an energy mark composed of green energy slowly emerged from her soul and began to shatter bit by bit. It was a restraint, a shackle. Yet even the one who created her was unaware that, while controlling her, she had secretly absorbed countless powers, finally breaking free from the chains that bound her. From now on, I am a new being. Ha ha ha. Like a villain just released from a demonic cage, the mysterious Thunder Lord's mouth twisted into a terrifying grin, spreading an eerie smile through the void.